miracles life. Now for today's encouragement, we're going to the book of Matthew, and it's chapter 17 verses 20 and 21. Yes. And it says, "So Jesus said to them, because of your unbelief, for assuredly I say to you, if you have faith as a mustard seed, you will say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move, and nothing will be impossible for you. However, this kind does not go out except for prayer and fasting." Now, whenever we hear this verse, we often hear just verse 20. Then we don't necessarily focus on the fact that it has to be combined with verse 21, which says, however, this kind does not go out except by prayer and fasting. So these two verses are pretty much straightforward, and it really just talks about faith and having this amount of faith with God, because I think this is pretty much the size of a mustard seed. Yeah, or probably smaller, who knows. But that's the amount of faith God requires of us to have in him, for him to move mountains on our behalf, right? And this really does not come like that. It comes through prayer and fasting, a lot of prayer and a lot of fasting. And honestly, when I was thinking about these two verses, the first thing that came to mind in terms of a personal experience was because there are many stories where a lot of persons in the Bible acted on just this amount of faith, yet God worked miracles for them, right? And when I was thinking about it, I could think of a few stories, and the one that really popped out to me was God telling me to come into medicine. Now, I won't give the full story in this encouragement. It's just an encouragement. But I had to have this amount of faith to believe what God told me to do. And that was, Shanique, go and study medicine. Yeah. And Shanique applied to this specific university. Shanique, do this specific course. Shanique, trust me to know that you will get into that university that I told you to apply to. And I had to be guys, when I pray in these types of situations, as you can probably tell by now, I'm a crier. I wouldn't say like I cry like for a long period of time, but my emotions do work up to the point where I do shed some tears, right? And all through, God told me to go into medicine September 2017, right? Before I flew out of Jamaica. And when I started medical school 2 years later, literally, probably to the date, I'm not even sure. I really don't remember. I should go and check it out. It's probably to the date. Because I know it was a Sunday in September, and I was waiting for story at another time, right? But it's almost to the date that 2 years after God told me, Shanique, do medicine, that I started medical school. So imagine 2 years of not seeing anything come to fruition, like a whole year, and you're wondering, what is he talking about? Like, what? Me, medical school? Like, And then year 2, doing chemistry, and then applying to the school is not responding to me, and I'm like, you said apply to this school, why are they not responding? Like I really had to be exercising a lot of faith. And I had to be doing a lot of prayer and fasting. I can't even count how many times I went into fasting because I'm like, this doesn't look like it's working out. Like, what are you doing? But yes, guys, I had to do a lot of praying and a lot of fasting and have that much faith, like a mustard seed, because trust me, my faith and my stubbornness worked against me many times. And yeah, I had to be exercising a lot of faith on a lot of faith up to March 29th or March 27th, when I saw that letter. No, when I saw on the school's portal, please upload your deposit fee for your tuition because you have been accepted. Whew, the relief. Just seeing that on my computer screen, I was like, wow, this is really happening. Like, it's really happening. The fact that he told me, like, he whispered it in my ear, he confirmed it, then he prepared me in terms of chemistry, and then March 2019, I saw it in front of my face. Oh, I'm going to do medical. I'm going to start medical school in September. Like, guys, I still think it's a miracle. Like, of course it's a miracle. Like, what else could it be? Because I told you guys in previous videos that Shanique science, no. But yeah, just having that much faith in God, this much faith, because remember, it is faith like a mustard seed. It's not like my faith was so big and I was trusting God. You can ask my mother. Emotional roller coaster, like, mommy, why is God tormenting me? Why is God doing this to me? If he said that he's going to put me in med school, why is it that these people aren't answering me? All the sort, like, hey, my mother, my anchor, you know. So woo, poured a lot on her. Yeah, poured a lot on her. Yeah. And she was encouraging me all throughout it, like all through, since I stepped foot in China. She has been encouraging me and just trying to let me exercise that mustard seed of faith in what God told me to do and what God confirmed me to do. And I'm thankful to her. I love her, my heart. Thankful to her, and just looking back at it now, guys, it's going to require a lot of praying and fasting, because even just exercising this amount of faith in God requires prayer and fasting. So imagine if he had required us to exercise a tennis ball or a basketball size worth of faith. Imagine the level of prayer and fasting we would have to be undergoing in order to see God bring his promises, bring his will for our life to fruition. Whew, it's not easy. Faith is a task, right? It's not easy. I won't sit here and lie to you that having faith is easy. It's not. But I can sit here and tell you that even just a mustard seed of faith can move mountains, because God just requires you to have that much faith. He didn't say you won't doubt. He didn't say that you won't cuss him out. I heard this from a pastor. He was like, God's back is broad enough to handle your emotions, handle the fact that you can argue with him. His back is broad enough for that. So you have every right. You can argue with him. Be respectful. Because even though I tell you oftentimes that I am arguing with him, I'm cussing him out, like I'm like, why are you doing this? And I get angry with him and I look in the sky and I'm literally arguing with him as if he's a human being in front of my face and they're upsetting me, right? I still stay on the side of respect. So I won't blaspheme his name. I won't call him out of his name in terms of like, oh, are you really a God? Or no. I just argue with him to say, why are you doing this? And I get angry. I say, you're being unfair. All the story. Probably like a Job. Yes, I think my experience in China is similar to a Job experience, honestly. But, yeah. God's back is broad enough to handle all of that. So when you do exercise that mustard seed of faith, he doesn't expect that you're going to exercise it and you're just going to always be okay. You're always going to be on cloud 9. You're going to no. He just wants you, even though you'll be angry at some point, even though you'll cry at some point, just still give him that mustard seed of faith. That when he does bring it to fruition, guys, you'll be like, wow, I'm happy. I'm glad I didn't lose faith in your promises. But you can show your emotions. He gave us emotions for a reason, not to bottle them up, but to speak to him as if, I told you already yesterday in many videos, like speak to him as if he's your friend, like a genuine friend. You're not going to just bottle up your emotions and not speak to somebody who makes the way clear or makes the atmosphere easy for you to talk to him. So, yeah, you just treat God as your friend and you can argue. His back is broad enough, strong enough to handle all of that. He's created us, right? So yeah, just exercise that mustard seed of faith, and with that mustard seed of faith, guys, prayer and fasting is key. I remember before I saw that nice thing on my screen to say that I was accepted into med school, I think I went through a whole 3 weeks of prayer and like just fasting, crying, praying, and like, why is this man in heaven? Like, why is he doing this? But yeah, just exercise that mustard seed of faith, guys. Like, you see, just this tiny, just very tiny, and this tiny faith that we'll exercise requires prayer and fasting, and God will move mountains. He'll work miracles that will be like, how is that? How did that happen? How did that happen? How did that happen? And when he does work out that miracle, you will look at him and be like, wow, I love you even more. I think he likes that end part, where he's like, yeah, you see, you should love me. I have your back, so you should love me. And then I'm like, But yes, guys, let's exercise that mustard seed of faith to know that God is by our side, and in just giving him that much of our faith, that mustard seed of faith, he'll definitely move mountains. And let's not forget verse 21 that says prayer and fasting. It doesn't come except by prayer and fasting. Okay, so have a great day, guys. Bye.